Hello, DawgNation, and welcome into DawgNation Invasion of the Tennessee River. And I promise it's not this dark here right now. We're actually going under one of the bridges here. The actual river cruise is taking place right now. We are marching our way towards Neyland Stadium, and the game here coming up in a little bit. We got dog fans everywhere. In fact, are you guys having a good time on the cruise today? Yes, sir. Absolutely, that's the case. We're having a good time there as well. In fact, you'll even be able to see my face here in a minute once we're out from underneath this forsaken bridge. But nonetheless, what a time it is. Big thanks to all the sponsors who made this possible. Our friends at Kroger, R.S. Andrews, the Dog Cave there as well. We got DawgNation Invasion of the Tennessee River t-shirts. We got folks chowing down on some good food, plenty of beverages to enjoy there as well, and a lot of sights and sounds we want to try to bring to you here over the course of the next couple of minutes as we literally set sail here on the Tennessee River. You should have seen the look on some of these Tennessee fans' faces a little earlier today. They were not happy. We knew they wouldn't be, but guess what? At this point in time, Tennessee fans are getting very used to being unhappy. Let's just be honest about that. So you can just add this to the list of things they've had to complain about over the course of the last couple of years and, frankly, most of their lifetimes. But nonetheless, a big day for Georgia coming up today against the Vols here in a moment. In fact, let me bring in my DawgNation colleague, Connor Riley, here there as well, because we're going to be interactive. We're going to do stuff. We're going to have people here. By the way, nobody loves this kind of thing more than Connor does. The idea of just being the life of the party, being like right here at the center of everything. Nobody just lives for this moment more than Connor does. But Connor, sure enough, I'm happy to be able to share this with you here today. You were in Knoxville last night. You got here early morning. What is your kind of thought on where things stand with this game here right now?
Yeah, one, I'd like to say I'm on a boat. Everybody look at me. I'm on a boat. Two, my thoughts on this have changed, and I understand there's a lot of, skepticism. There's been some late line movement. This game has gone from 10.5 Georgia down to 9 right now, maybe even dropped further than that.
That's right.
I think people are underestimating how good this Georgia offense is going to be. This is the second game they've had Amarius Mims, Brock Bowers, and Ladd McConkey all healthy enough to play and contribute. And I think that we're going to see as this group continues to play more and more, as Carson continues to get more comfortable. Obviously, it's going to be a very raucous environment when the game kicks off at 3:30 in Neyland Stadium. But I think once you get past that initial wave, I think Georgia has the horses to be the best offense in the country. And we haven't gotten a chance to see that most of the season because of the injuries that they've had. But as they get into this deep part of the season where they have to play their toughest games, this is an offense that, as you saw last week against Ole Miss, averaged 10 yards per play, and is playing a Tennessee team that is coming off a real tough loss against Missouri, and I think has a chance to really put a really solid number on the board there today.
So two things for me on what you bring up. First of all, I'm a big believer in this, that sometimes in life you want to thin slice and sort of break things down to their ultimate essence. I'm a big believer that proximity to water is a very big deal in terms of judging your overall quality of life, how happy you're likely to be, how close are you to water on a daily basis. To me, goes a long way towards determining that. Right now, folks, we are on water. So now listen, at some point in time we may bump into these goalposts the Tennessee fans threw in here last year after the Alabama game, but for now we are on a body of water. We have riparian rights right now on the city of Knoxville. So I'm a big believer, first of all, in proximity to water being a pretty good judge of how your life is going. I would say right now our life's going pretty well.
Yeah, no, I know you're a big coastal elite, and so I'm sure you are very much enjoying getting to be on the water right now and enjoying this. I mean, it's a little cloudy right now, but the weather standpoint from today, you could not ask for a better fall football game here today.
We'll also get to football here in a moment, but we'll also bring you kind of behind the scenes here a little bit. I wanted to do this show wearing one of those, you've seen those captain hats before? I was told under no certain terms was I allowed to wear this. Now, I already look like a fool anyway because my hair is blowing all over the place. But Connor, you thought the hat was just, I asked you, I said, does this look good silly or bad silly? And you said it looks bad silly. It's way too small.
The hat was just too small for your head. And look, I'm someone who has a similarly large size cranium. There are certain hats that are just never going to be for us. And unfortunately, they don't make captain's hats for us. If they did, too much power.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's actually a good point. To make it about football for a moment, you brought this up, and I think you're right, that the Georgia offense, to me, is the really identifying characteristic of this team right now. And no matter what, I truly believe that Georgia could score whatever amount of points today to win that it needs to. So in terms of Georgia actually losing this game, I have very little belief that's even a possibility because however many points that Tennessee could score, I just believe that right now Georgia, especially with the healthy components of Ladd McConkey returning and Brock Bowers returning and Amarius Mims being here, I just believe that based on that, Georgia could score whatever it needed to win this game. I think it kind of comes down to a matter of how motivated to go out and play its best is Georgia? Last week for the home finale, it seemed like Georgia had an incredible level of motivation for that, perhaps a lot of reasons. Georgia, for the most part, hasn't had any real issue in these November road games the last couple of years. We mentioned that during the weekend Dog Nation Daily, but I think perhaps part of the reason why this spread is maybe dropping here a little bit, my gosh, there's some big man. Look at that mansion over there. Look at that. It's pretty amazing.
Talk about Coastal Elite.
Yeah, I tell you what, somebody in Tennessee's got some money. This is what no state income tax gives you right here, I guess. The point though is maybe why that point spread's dropping a little bit here is maybe this is a Georgia team that wants to manage possessions, wants to keep guys healthy, and kind of get out of here looking ahead to what's going to happen over the course of the next couple of weeks.
I mean, we saw this a season ago when Georgia and Tennessee played. Georgia was up, I believe, 24-3 at halftime. And they just sort of sat on the lead in the second half there, and ultimately that made the final score closer than what everyone saw that day. And so I do think that it'll be interesting today as the boat starts rocking here. It'll be interesting today. Tennessee, in theory, they should try to play this from an underdog game standpoint in terms of shortening possessions, especially with how well they run the ball. You would think, increased time of possession, but that's just not how Tennessee plays. They want to play fast. And so when you are an underdog in trying to limit the number of possessions, which I think works in Georgia's favor, I do understand the idea that, Tennessee could get a late touchdown. They obviously got one last year. And that aspect of making this game maybe look more close than it is, because, again, Georgia has bigger things on its mind. It's already got the SEC East wrapped up. It has an Alabama game in 2 weeks to focus on. It knows it has to go on the road to Georgia Tech next week. Tennessee's going to throw everything they have at this game because, you play Vanderbilt next week, but this is really it for the Tennessee season. It's a last stand to make a statement. And so I do think that, Tennessee's going to throw everything they have at this game. I just think Georgia's going to be very well prepared for it.
I think you're exactly right, Connor. We love your game day coverage. We'll be reading that DawgNation.com, and we'll see you very soon here around Dog Nation. Connor Riley here on our Dog Nation invasion on the Tennessee River right now. Let's also bring in our next guest. And how about, this is going to be pretty close to your first Dog Nation event, is that right? Somebody asked me today, Kaylee and I were walking together, and of course I was making Kaylee carry all the equipment as, anyone would. She's our caddy here for stuff like this. Somebody said, this must be your daughter. And I said, this is like my work daughter, even though, am I old enough to be your father? Hopefully not precisely old enough. If I am, just say I'm not.
I was going to say, you don't want me to answer that.
Yeah. I want you to lie to me. I definitely want that. But one of your first Dog Nation events, you having a good time so far?
Yeah, honestly, the best part is just being able to put names with faces. I see so many people in the comments, so to see them here in person, that's been so rewarding, and to get to meet these people and spend a little extra time with my coworkers, and we're on a boat.
Exactly. I told you, proximity to the water, big deal here. We are on a boat, and what's been your, reaction to the cruise here thus far? Vols fans not too happy about it, Georgia fans having a good time, and honestly, this is like a side of Knoxville I've never really seen before. This is like this really is the Tennessee River.
I thought the same thing when we were going by all these houses, because when you and I were walking to the parking lot, you still have to push the button to be able to cross the street, and I was like, oh, we're in one of those places where they're kind of behind in life. Maybe technology hasn't hit yet. And then I've seen all these houses out here, and I'm like, oh, so this is where the NIL money comes from.
Yeah, if you've been to Knoxville and you've kind of only seen that, this is like the Tennessee River that Alabama's saying about right here. Not the thing that's in town that sort of looks like it's probably dealing with its sheer pollution. This is like the real Tennessee River right here. So good stuff. How you feeling about Georgia here today?
You know what? This, out of the 3-game stretch that we've had against ranked opponents, this is the one that I've been the least concerned about. UGA's won 6 in a row, all by double digits. Yes, everybody talks about Neyland Stadium, and you know what? Tennessee is on a 14 home game win streak, and the team to last beat them at home was the University of Georgia. So I think Connor said it best. He said, I think our offense is being overlooked. I'm actually really confident about today's game. I was really nervous against Ole Miss. I bit my nails down to the core.
Oh, yeah.
I've just been chilling today.
I'd love to hear that.
Vacation.
And one of the things you want is when you go on the road, you want to keep your same routine. And I'd say here around Dog Nation, we definitely are doing that, because the one thing we talked about right before we came on the air, hey, I want to get Kaylee and Connor and Jeff. We're all going to do a quick hit on video. Well, just like being back at home, Jeff's nowhere to be found right now. So luckily, we're taking the same process with us on the road as we have here at home, expecting Jeff to be here. But who knows what Jeff's doing right now. I haven't seen Mike Griffith since the boat left. Not even sure what he's doing. He's probably in the corner somewhere doing some work.
Fell off the boat.
Yeah. Either way, so we're going to try to bring you Jeff Sintel. I do not see him right now. So what we might do is this. Unless we'll hear from Jeff later on. That's fine. Because we're going to be back live again here on the Tennessee River coming up a little bit. Kaylee Manziel's got our Dog Nation pregame show for us. Does the pregame show have a name, or is it just the pregame show? Either way, Kaylee's got you live for the pregame show coming up here in a little bit. We will hear from an entire collection of DawgNation folks on there, and we'll get you set for everything that's going to happen in Knoxville here today. The honest truth is, we do wish you could be here with us. Obviously, one of the things we love around DawgNation is the chance to have fun, do fun things with fun people, and that's what this is all about. So if you missed us on the DawgNation Invasion, we're going to be getting back together for a big tailgate prior to the SEC Championship. I'll have more details for you on Monday coming up on DawgNation Daily. But for now, one more time, a big thanks to Kroger, R.S. Andrews, and the Dog Cave for making DawgNation Invasion on the Tennessee River possible. Stay close to social media. We'll try to show you a lot of those sights and sounds. And I'll also see you after the game as well for the DawgNation postgame show. We'll be live on the field on Neyland Stadium. We expect to be talking about a Georgia win. We'll look forward to seeing you there for that. And thanks for being with us here on video for our DawgNation Invasion of the Tennessee River. We'll talk to you soon, everybody.